Hello and welcome to another forecast for our Scorpio new moon this time. This is an impactful one. This is going to be felt strongly at a psychological level for most people. We are all going to feel a little bit more scorpionic. And what that means is that we can see like a Scorpio. We can see what is at the bottom of the ocean, what is underneath the water. So get ready for that. It may not always show up on the outside, but everybody is going to be going through some sort of psychological transformation where you might be seeing people differently, you might be operating differently yourself. I'm going to talk about all of the energy at the time of this new moon that is going to be helpful to keep in mind as situations show up in your life. That'll give you the most information about the moon, and then the sign by sign will just give you clues as to where in your life this might be showing up and how to process that a little bit more specifically for you. So this new moon is happening Friday, November 1st at 12:46 Universal Time. The most significant part of this new moon, aside from being in the sign of Scorpio, is that the two rulers of Scorpio, Mars and Pluto, are standing across from each other in the sky in an opposition. This is a slower moving transit. It is going to carry on for quite some time as Mars goes retrograde and opposes Pluto again in Aquarius. But for now, what I think is going to really come into focus is psychological transformation of things that have been traditional, historic, deeply embedded in our foundations and our traditions without necessarily consciously thinking about it. Mars in the sign of Cancer is a water sign, and Mars is the kind of energy that can create a big tsunami, that can create big upheavals. Mars is our anger, our frustration, our passion. But Cancer is typically a sign that would like to avoid those energies and stay safe in order to protect themselves and protect the ones that they love. With a Mars in Cancer opposing Pluto in its final degree of Capricorn, I think protecting ourselves and protecting the ones we love is not going to come from sidestepping and avoidance right now. It is more about looking at what's underneath, what's deep inside the water, what is typically buried and unseen, bringing it to the surface. Pluto is already moving direct, and so we're starting to really find resolution with the changes of history and tradition in Capricorn that we would like to, or that Pluto is encouraging, that path that Pluto is encouraging us along in Capricorn. When Pluto moves into Aquarius on November 18th, I think that's when we are going to feel more resolution, even more ideas that are innovative and create something fresh and new. But in the last degree of Capricorn, Pluto is moving forward, but it's still going over what has been old and traditional. And even though this is a new beginning at this new moon, I think that we are putting into practice how we are going to rework that which is old and outdated as we move into November, December, especially next spring with the eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. That is going to really feel like, I mean, next year we just have so many new transits to look forward to, and I'm excited to talk about all of those down the road. But for now, we are finishing the last little bit about rewriting how we have done things in the past. This grand trine between Mars, Mercury, and Neptune is beautiful energy for communication, clarity, and creativity that comes out of the conflict that we're going through, or the discomfort that we're going through, or the emotional upheaval and deep dives that we are going through. This is great energy for pen to paper, as we used to say, and really writing out your thoughts and what you're going through and what you're processing. The creative potential of this energy is awesome. Whether you're in creative work or not, this is a time where writing and talking about things, it's going to be the way forward, and it's going to come with ease. There's going to be an ability to draw on words and draw on making pictures of things and articulating things in a way that will make sense, whether it's received well or not by the other person, the audience. That's less important. It's more important that we are making the effort to put things into words and to make sense of things rather than just not talk about it. The only real direct interaction with the new moon itself and another planet is Saturn. And this speaks to the longevity of whatever it is that's starting right now. It might feel like it starts off slow, but it's slow and steady, and it wins the race. So keep that in mind with anything you're launching. This is a wonderful time for business launching for a lot of people right before we move into a Mercury retrograde, and the promise of something that is stable and long-lasting is here. Another great reason to have any tough conversations, especially when it comes to relationships and partnerships. Now, speaking of relationships, another interesting energy that we are looking at is a Venus-Jupiter opposition. Venus is in Jupiter's sign, Sagittarius, and there's an energy here where romance and knowing it all about love and how relationships work could be on high. This is also an energy where indulgence and pleasure can go overboard. So watch for that if you don't want that to be the case. Sometimes that could be exactly the mixture that starts to create a situation that then dives into the deeper psychology behind it and is exactly what this new moon wants us to work out. Perhaps one of the most important pieces of this new moon is that the bigger journey ahead with Mars in Cancer has to do with how we manage anger, frustration, passion, excitement, drive, motivation. But suppressed anger really blocks our health. It blocks our motivation and our desire and our passion and the healthier manifestations of Mars. So I think a big part of what we are looking at with Mars in Cancer over the next 6 months is how do we manage anger? How do we manage anger within our family systems? How do we manage anger and resentment towards past experiences, towards things that we have buried inside of us? What do we do with that? Everybody's going to be on a journey of looking at that in different ways around this new moon. And what I would love is to see comments below sharing some of what you are finding helpful as a tool or a resource or a new practice when it comes to managing some of those more difficult emotions, especially anger and resentment. I love seeing the comments from you, and especially with a moon like this, bring it on. Let's have some great discussions. One more small piece is that, or maybe not so small, is that Uranus is opposing Mercury, and Uranus is our planet of revolution, but it comes with a zest of unpredictability and complete destruction and turnaround of something. So this can, even though our words are flowing really well, there's a lot to say about psychological topics and things that we typically don't talk about with Mercury in Scorpio. Uranus is going to amplify that even more. And I love a little Uranian energy. I like stuff that's shocking and surprising and out of the ordinary, because otherwise communication can stay a little surface. So That's just a little fun warning slash side note. The potential that I really see with this new moon is that personal power comes from psychological awareness and management in the absolute healthiest ways. This is going to be a new cycle about figuring out exactly that. Let's have some great discussions. Thank you so much for being here, watching, liking, subscribing. It really means a lot. And if you would like to process more with a one-on-one Zoom call with me, check out my website, link below. Would love to see you there. And now let's get into your sign. Capricorn, this is your final weeks with Pluto in your sign. It's been a journey, and you, more than other signs, are probably feeling that you are equipped with new psychological awareness and understanding around the time of this new moon. You might be seeing others more clearly, and you might be seeing your own approaches towards how you apply yourself, how you connect with other people. You might start seeing those quite differently as this transit finishes up. In that process, this new moon looks like you are bringing in a whole new community, network, marketplace. If you are in business, this is a wonderful opportunity for long-term online clients because you have Saturn in your third house that is giving beautiful energy to this new moon that promises longevity, promises stability too. Could be people you can really rely on. This could be friendship networks as well. Really your community at large and the people that you surround yourself with, whether that is in person or online. You also could be feeling quite chatty with networks and online communication with Mercury in this part of your chart. And you might be talking about some deeper, more meaningful things with your networks, with Scorpio ruling the 11th house for you of networks and community. This probably feels quite good for you to have this depth of connection, whether it is with friends or online or whatever's showing up. It's something that is transforming how you operate in relationships right now, your more one-on-one long-term relationships. And speaking of relationships, it's your one-on-one partnerships that are really heating up right now. And this is going to be your longer focus with Mars in Cancer in your 7th house. You could be experiencing more passion, more fun, more motivation with your partner, more inspiration, especially if that's a business partner, business or romantic. The flip side of that is that there could be more anger and aggression in that process as well. But dealing with anger and aggression is what is going to create more passion and inspiration at the same time. This is juggling act with Pluto right now in your sign. So this is really forcing you to draw on those skills that you have been working on since 2008 when it comes to your psychological upheaval, facing your fears, dealing with stuff that is subconscious, and maybe creating subconscious conflicts and friction with your personal relationships. So this is coming out into the light, and it's really the whatever's showing up in partnerships is the situation that the perfect situation that you have to exercise these skills and really put to test what you've been learning. You are one of the signs that is gifted with this creativity right now with Neptune in your 3rd house and the beautiful trine with Mercury and Mars. So use that creativity to your advantage. This could also be a tendency to fantasize and escape. And the two can be either constructive or destructive. So keep that in mind of whatever is the perfect balance for you, but that might need to be kept in check as far as dealing with reality and using whatever comes up in the most creative and enjoyable ways. Enjoy the communication. I hope that everything is going really well for you, Capricorn, overall with the last days of Pluto in your sign, what a special time of your life to go through and move on from. It is really no easy thing, and I think you are going to start to feel quite different depending on your personal chart, of course. But when Pluto leaves Capricorn for good on November 18th, throw yourself a little party. You deserve it. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Aquarius. This is a brand new beginning when it comes to work, status, career, visibility. How you are seen in the world is really starting to take on a new layer of depth and meaning. Right now, you could be seen as quite expressive, quite chatty, and not chatty in a superficial way, because Mercury is in Scorpio. You are being seen as intellectually deep, and I think what you have to say comes across in profound ways to other people right now. It's a really, really good asset for this particular chart of the new moon for you. Creativity is on high with Jupiter in your 5th house. This could also be way too much fun and pleasure with the Jupiter-Venus opposition. So watch for that, especially with friends and relationships, online relationships, dating and communication in general. But pleasure with community and friends, this could be an area that tips in one direction or the other quite easily. And it's going to be the direction of overindulging with energy like this. Your values are where Saturn is right now, though. So this is a saving grace of stability and longevity that is adding to your position and visibility and career right now. You're feeling really solid in what is meaningful to you and how to take care of your energy, resources, what you are worth. So this could be something that you're displaying more visibly, what you're willing to deal with when it comes to work and career, and just what you're not. You're being very careful with your energy, and you've been going through more lessons around dissipating energy and wealth in ways that cause unnecessary leaks and drains. You're reining it back in. This Mars-Pluto opposition is happening for you in your 12th and 6th house. So Mars in the 6th house could mean that there is actually some frustration in your day-to-day activities, in your day-to-day life, in your workplace with employees, maybe even coworkers, colleagues. The work you have to get done might feel frustrating, the actual nitty-gritty of it. And this could be a little bit of a longer experience until February, March next year. So just be patient if you can with this. And that's why I want to give a bit of a heads up of this Mars energy in your 6th house, that if you're getting frustrated with your day-to-day tasks, Pluto in your 12th house until November 18th in Capricorn, finishing its transit there and its opposition to this frustrating Mars, or motivation. And I just want to say that, yes, Mars in your 6th house could be frustrating, but it could also be very motivating, that you have a lot of energy and stamina to get things done. And that might fluctuate back and forth, where you feel motivated, inspired, and assertive, and then sometimes frustrated and not knowing how to manage that frustration. Pluto in your 12th house is asking you to draw on your intuition. Draw on your intuition, as well as knowing that balance of rest and retreat and work, and taking the time to balance out rest and retreat and taking a break when you need to can override the drive to use escapism and avoidance as a coping mechanism. It's catching it in a healthy way before you use unhealthy ways to avoid reality and life, which you're actually going to be able to tell this story much better than I can, because you have just gone through this since 2008 in all of the deepest ways, and maybe even faced some very stressful and scary situations that have helped you really figure out this balance of work and retreat and facing reality and enjoying creativity and stuff that is connected to the more ethereal experience that is not grounded in reality. And that can really aid our productivity when we're in that creative space, but it can also take away from it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below how that's showing up for you. That's a really big one, and I'm curious to hear more about these Pluto 12th house experiences. For now, whatever you have learned and what you are putting into practice right now is really paying off for your reputation. Enjoy this new moon, and I hope that whatever practice you are putting out into the world right now, that it's going smoothly and enjoyably and bringing you great visibility opportunities. I'll see you next time. Hi, Pisces. This is a ninth house new moon for you. So you could be on a new beginning when it comes to your spiritual pursuits, the way that you view the world. You could be embarking on some new education of some kind, higher learning. What this ultimately is about is probably putting together a deeper psychological understanding in some way and making it part of how you see the world and part of your belief systems. You also might be articulating this to others really well right now, and this might be part of the process for other people on their journey of understanding some of the psychology that's at play in our human existence. The Saturn beautiful trine energy to this new moon is coming from you, coming from Pisces. And Saturn is retrograde right now, so it's going over the development that you've been working on when it comes to restructuring who you are and how you operate in the world. This is part of what is going through a bit of a testing period, and not really a testing period, but a way of exercising everything that you've been learning and working on and really putting that into some concrete belief systems. The Mars-Pluto opposition is happening in your 5th and 11th house. This is the finale for Pluto in your 11th house of transforming your networks, your audience, your marketplace, your communities, people that are connected to you in this world in some way. Mars in your 5th house looks like a lot of creative expression, that you are very passionate right now about expressing who you truly are. Your creativity might be on high. You might even be frustrated getting some of this creative energy out because you have so much of it. Something like that. Maybe some of the transformation that you're doing with online networks and visibility is creating frustration with your creative projects and redoing things. With Mars in the 5th house, another way this can show up is dating and romance. This could also be children. And if that's the case, you might be finding that your children are pushing boundaries or dealing with anger and frustration in ways that they didn't before. They might be going through something, they might be feeling more passionate. The focus on family and children could be on high for those of you who do have them. And if this is not your children, then this is how you creatively express, how you are really true to yourself, and how that comes across to the people that you're connected with. If this is children, I could also see this being the kind of energy where you're dealing with some of the fears and dark side of internet networks and connections. And not to cause any stress if that's not something you're dealing with, but that is one possibility. And What it does look like, though, is that Saturn in your sign means that you are putting up all of the structures in place that need to be there to protect your values and belief systems, and ultimately whatever is going on with this 5th and 11th house axis, whether that's children or creative projects. So that's a lot. Let me know how this is showing up for you in the comments below, because this can go so many ways. Ultimately, I see this Saturn working so well for you, where you are feeling strong and stable and structured and a solid foundation to operate in whatever way is really true to your beliefs and your self-expression, because you have been putting in a lot of work to make this all come together, and I think it's playing out in a really great way now, as well as your creativity and your ability to express these belief systems. It's like people really need to hear your outrageous thoughts right now, because you have Uranus in the 3rd house. This is your words, your expression. You are the one bringing this radical quality to expression. So really don't hold back around energy like this, Pisces. This is your time to really show people how you see the world, because like a Scorpio, Pisces, you can see things that a lot of people don't, and people really need to hear what the world experience is like through your eyes. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful new moon, and I will see you next time. Hi, Aries. This is an 8th house new moon for you. So this is all about your deep, intimate bonds with another person. This is psychological reversals. This is definitely getting into the depths of your psychology and that of your significant other person in this world, whether that's romantic or business partnerships, or somebody that is karmic, contractual energy for you. This can be another person's resources as well. So this could be a brand new beginning with getting support from other people, or deepening your richest bonds. You certainly have the gift of gab in this department, because Mercury is in your 8th house. So your ability to talk about deep psychological things around this time is on high. But you also have Jupiter in your 3rd house, which is really increasing your mental activity, your words, your media work, writing, potentially. Now, this is a longer transit with Jupiter in your 3rd house. So this has been going on since June and will continue till next June. So this is wonderful energy to work on communication of any kind. This can even be brushing up your communication skills, like how you speak. I want to talk about it in the context of this new moon cycle, because it's opposing Venus in Sagittarius in your 9th house. And so I think this could be part of this work around deepening your intimate bonds. If this is relationship wise, Venus in the 9th house opposing Jupiter can mean that you're really, the belief systems and the ways that you view the world are at odds with a significant partner. And it's by coming to a deep understanding of where the other person is coming from that the intimacy really grows. It is not that you need to be on the same page or believe in the same things, maybe even quite the contrary. It could be that you have very opposing views that make this relationship interesting. And again, this can be romantic, partnership, or just any significant person in your life. If this is not showing up in another person, or understanding the psychology deeper in some way in yourself and others, it could be more about actual money and your belief systems around money that are changing. Uranus is in this part of your chart that rules assets and energy, and there could be some unpredictable things going on with resources, especially connected to short distance travel, siblings, neighbors, cousins, close relatives. One of the possibilities of how this could show up. This also, I didn't mention it for the other signs, and I might in some of the next recordings, but you have Jupiter trining Chiron in your house, which is more significant for you, this Chiron position. It's going to show up for everybody, but this is the wounded healer getting a big blast of healing energy from Jupiter, who is wise and gathering information and using that information as a tool to heal. So any wounds that you have around who you are as a person and the tools that you have to offer in this world are getting a dose of healing right now. And this is the energy that we pay forward and end up being able to support and help other people going through the exact same thing. So that's a really lovely piece. The Saturn is showing up in your 12th house, so discipline around self-destructive behavior is a possibility. And there's something about how you take a break from the world, how you rest and retreat and maybe spend time away from the world with your deeper bonds that is going through some reworking. And this reworking that you've done is showing up in a beneficial way right now, as far as deepening your bonds, deepening your support from other people, and understanding your own psychology in a much more helpful way. So time alone and retreat could have been part of this process, or maybe is part of this process right now. Either way, I hope it's going really well for you, Aries. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know how this is showing up in the comments below for you. Given that this is a pretty private part of your chart, the 8th house where this new moon is, this might be happening under wraps for now, but yeah, would love to hear from you if you feel like sharing. I'll see you next time. Hi, Taurus. This is a partnership new moon for you. So this is a time when somebody new can come into your life and be really significant for the long haul, especially with Saturn trining it from your 11th house. So this could be a long-standing friend or somebody that you've known through your community for quite some time. If this isn't somebody new coming into your life, this is a new level of connection in your significant partnerships, or just something new happening with your partner, work or romantic. You have Mars in your 3rd house. This could be about your communication, something you see in media, your own writing. You could be very passionate right now about expression, and in all of the ways. It could be showing up in beautiful motivation and drive and inspiration for expression and writing, any media projects that you're working on. And or this could be frustration and anger around those topics too. So Taurus, you're one of the signs that could be expressing more anger and more frustration. And this is a time when Pluto is asking you to make sense of this from your belief systems and how you view the world in your 9th house. Taurus, you are a sign that lives from a very embodied place. You are the sign that rules the 5 senses, and you're not a sign that is overly cerebral about things. And of course, depending on your personal chart, that is going to be different for all Tauruses watching this. But there is a Taurian quality that feels, embodies, and acts based on that rather than intellectually processing everything. With Pluto in your 9th house, there is this energy that Pluto has been nudging you towards, maybe in more challenging ways at times since 2008, to look at this through the lens of what are your belief systems, what are your values, how do you view the world, and how in this moment, how does your communication reflect that? How does it either align with it or help others really see what you value and believe in? So it's really about working on the words right now. Great time to write things out, figure out what it really means to you and then express it to others. Your creative inspiration could be coming from online networks, communities, friends, marketplaces. There's something there with Neptune that is adding a really lovely creative piece to your communication, and some of this energy with Mars in your house of communication. So Mercury is in your partnership house, that rules communication. That's being lit up with significant partners, but then also the third house with Mars when it comes to how you read, how you write, how you express, and how you use the communication tools that you have in a functional way on a day-to-day basis. So good creative flow for you Taurians out there. It's probably coming from communities or online networks of some kind. So put that to good use. Let me know how things are going in the comments below. I hope that this is a really fun new beginning for you. You are still going, you are the one who has Uranus in your first house that is opposing Mercury in your partnership. So your unpredictability could be another thing that is creating a new beginning with your partnerships in some way. You could be just really catching someone off guard. And whenever I talk about this Uranus in Taurus longer transit that we've been in, I think it's quite funny because they're such different energies to be so erratic and unpredictable. And coming from those Taurians out there, I'll be sad when that transit moves on. I hope you are putting that Uranian unpredictable, fun, revolutionary energy to its best. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful new moon journey, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Gemini. This is a sixth house new moon for you. So for Geminis, this could be work, daily routines, the day-to-day grind, the way that you get things done. And this is a health related house. So this could be the beginning of a new transition when it comes to health matters of any kind. It's going to have a layer of psychology to it. Whatever you're doing, if it's your day-to-day habits, you're probably paying more attention to what is psychologically healthy for you. And if it is health, then you're looking again at maybe how those habits and your psychology play into the deeper layers of a health-related thing. This Mars-Pluto opposition is happening in your second and eighth house. This has to do with your energy levels and your values. When we don't value our energy levels and support our body in a way that is beneficial, we pay the cost with illness, lack of energy, sometimes with resources as well. So with Mars in this part of your chart, you are probably focusing more and feeling really passionate about your energy balances in all of those ways. It could be that an asset or belongings are being severed and you're letting go of certain possessions. This Pluto in your eighth house transit that's finishing up is really speaking to psychology for you. Deep psychological reversals, looking at psychological patterns and transforming yourself in that way. And at the same time, the eighth house represents our support from other people, our deep, intimate bonds. And when we're working on all of those topics, they do all flow together. So whatever work you're finalizing with Pluto in your eighth house, this looks like you're really putting into personal power, what you value and the value that you see in yourself. That's really coming out right now, and it's going to be potentially challenged by those who support you or the resources of your partner in some way. If there are challenges that are coming from a partner or psychology or anything like that that you're uncovering, these are just ways to continue to put what you value to the test. And so you'll become clearer and clearer on exactly what it is you do value. And it's this new values system that is coming from a place of psychological transformation that could be changing how you operate in a day-to-day way. Jupiter is blessing your sign, and you have that all the way until June. You are healing wounds when it comes to community and networks and really feeling a sense of belonging in this world, connection, maybe connection to your own inner world, because this new moon has such a big psychology, Pluto, Scorpio emphasis to it. And Saturn is bringing you stability in your public image. You have been working so hard for this, and whatever connection is going on to the sixth house of work in your day-to-day life, your reputation is really supporting that. So I think you're going to be pleased with whatever is showing up from the 10th house of status and reputation and how that's benefiting your day-to-day life and whatever you are on the precipice of creating in those daily habits and health for the next 6 month cycle, really. Creativity and communication is also showing up really well in these houses of what you value, how you're seen in the world, and the work that you actually get done. So I think work stuff looks like it's flowing really well, and no short because of all of the hard work that you've put in to be really clear on what matters to you and to completely transform any psychological stuff that's been holding you back. If this is health related, I really hope that this new moon is one that brings you a fresh start in a way that feels really good in your body. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful new moon cycle. I will see you next time. Hi, Cancer. This is a new moon for you when it comes to fun, romance, pleasure, children, creativity. Wonderful place to have a new moon and a fresh start. With Mars in your sign, you are probably feeling really passionate and driven and motivated. You could also be feeling more frustration and more anger and be one of the signs that is really focusing on how you manage that, how you process it, how you move it through your body, since the first house is a sign of the body itself. But with this Pluto opposition coming from partnerships, I think this is part of your graduation process of having a long journey of Pluto in your partnership house since 2008. You have gone through the dark side of what partnerships are all about, whether that is romantic or work or otherwise. You have a new lens and a new way of looking at other people and what that dynamic between self and other is all about. Mars is here to stir things up a little bit and show you how far you've come. If this Mars is showing up in a way that's creating agitation and conflict and frustration, then I think you're just really going to see how much your relationships have actually transformed. And that is the beauty of a really tough Pluto journey. I love that the essence of this energy is the new moon in your fifth house, though, because as intense as this Mars Pluto opposition looks in your first and seventh house, a new moon in your fifth house, it promises that fun is here at the same time. It also could be fun alongside creative expression, that you are feeling a brand new beginning of being able to truly be yourself in relationships, and how much fun that brings to the table, how much romance that can bring back into your romantic life when you feel like you can really be you, and not just be you, but express yourself. This is really a new moon, brand new cycle of self-expression. And it could be children. For some of you that have children, want children, all of those things. Creativity is coming from your belief systems right now. You're either in a space where you're feeling very creative about teaching and putting out your belief systems and your wisdom. This could be part of the fifth house new moon. It also looks like writing because Mercury is in the fifth house part of your chart too in Scorpio. So you might be getting more actual writing down or just having conversations about Scorpio things like psychology, the dark side of life, the hidden depths of humanity and what exists below the surface and deep, deep in the depths of the ocean. If this isn't coming out in a creative way for you, then there's a possibility that there's something that you're not seeing when it comes to your belief systems and your values quite yet. But because this is overall positive energy trining from Neptune, I don't see it necessarily being as much about illusion, though there's a fine line between illusion and deception and creativity and all of those things, especially during Scorpio season. And for you, Uranus is bringing you lovely surprises with networks, community, marketplace, your connections in this world overall, and your bigger communities. So Cancer, you're one of the signs that looks like this is going to be a fairly good new moon for you. Let me know how things are going in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Leo. This is a fourth house new moon for you. So this is a brand new beginning when it comes to home and your inner world. You are one of the signs that is going to really be feeling this Cancerian back to the roots of your family origin type of energy and digging up any psychology that is time for focus and work on and deeper understanding, processing. This is a time where you could be doing a lot of processing about your upbringing and how you were raised and how that is affecting your inner world on a day-to-day basis. This is a really great opportunity to write or communicate what you're going through too. It has the potential to deepen your bonds and create more of a dreamlike quality with your intimate connections if you feel comfortable sharing some of these things. It has the potential to have more motivation and drive right now for you to be isolated and taking a break from your day-to-day life and day-to-day responsibilities. You might, in this experience, heighten your connection to your subconscious. You might feel more intuitive and feel more in touch with deeper parts of yourself. This could be a time where you travel and go to some overseas places. Hospitals, prisons are also covered in the 12th house with Mars there. But what that means is that the energy is talking about things that are isolating you from the regular day-to-day life experiences. And the purpose in that is spiritual connection. The purpose in that is getting to know yourself better at an energetic level. Pluto in your sixth house is opposing this Mars, and this is the last little bit of Pluto transforming your work life, your day-to-day habits. There's something very strong about the balance right now between work and productivity being part of your day-to-day life and habits, and then taking time to dissociate and disconnect and be away from it all. This axis can have to do with health and, as I mentioned, hospitals. This can have to do with prisons and monasteries and churches and places where you are away from your daily responsibilities. But this also has to do with self-destructive habits that take us out of reality. Any of these topics could require balance, and that you could be facing some fears and really challenging situations with Pluto there. But you have the tools now that Pluto's moving forward, and you're probably feeling better momentum overall. But it doesn't mean that this challenging situations aren't still showing up, so that you can put what you are wanting to into practice and feeling strong, exercising that muscle of whatever new things Pluto is bringing into your daily habits and activities or work life. Come November 18th, it is going to move on into your partnership house, and you can check out my Pluto in Aquarius video below. I'll leave the link below if you haven't seen it, give you a bit more insight into what's coming. But for now, it makes sense that you are changing your day-to-day habits, and then the partners that come in are going to start to reflect some of those changes. Right now, the beneficial energy is really shining through with Saturn in your 8th house, and that is bringing stability and a sense of foundation when it comes to intimacy and support from other people. This could be financially. Even if you're feeling restricted, it's consistent and dependable and reliable, which is really nice. And then Jupiter is really expanding your networks, your fun, your pleasure, especially with Venus in the 5th house. This is the energy of overdoing pleasure and also the energy of really enjoying dating and romance and fun and hobbies. Children are covered in the 5th house. This could mean that you're enjoying time with your children, that there's more time for doing some of the simple joys in life, whether that's outdoor play and maybe something somewhat adventurous because it's Sagittarius. And if this has to do with your children, there could be some expansion of networks and community that you are managing and trying to find some balance with, like how much fun is too many connections and too many networks and too much to manage, whether that is yourself or your children. But that is an area where this looks like a lot of fun that you are experiencing alongside figuring out how to balance rest and work and getting joy out of life. That's a lot, Leo. That's a lot. Let me know how this is going for you in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And I hope that you are juggling all of these oppositions really well. I'll see you next time. Hi, Virgo. This is a 3rd house new moon for you. So this is all about your communication and your writing, social media, how you articulate and get things across to other people. This could also be information that is coming in for you. But with Mercury here, I think that you're probably spending more time communicating, writing, and thinking about Scorpionic Pluto topics, especially because you're finishing Pluto in your 5th house, which is transforming your creativity. It's transforming how you express who you truly are and your God-given talents. Now, this Pluto-Mars opposition for you is happening with your 11th house with Mars and the 5th house, just finishing up that last little bit with Pluto. The 11th house is going to be motivation, passion, even frustration at times with your networks, community, marketplace. These are your larger networks for social things or for business potentially. This can also represent the internet and the people that we communicate with through those sort of connections. That's really lit up for you quite a bit with the new moon in your 3rd house, which also can cover those internet network related topics. But that's more on the what you are actually saying. And then the 11th house is going to talk about the network itself. So I see you really transforming, like I said, your creative talents, how you express what is truly unique to you. This could have to do with children if you have them. You might be on the last little bit of going through big transformations with your children and what creative self-expression means to them. It could be through your children that you're learning your own self-expression and what authentic self-expression is all about. There's strong support coming from partnerships right now. This could be a significant person in your life in any capacity, but when it's the seventh house, this is somebody that you are in a contractual relationship with of some kind. So it often represents a long-term business partner or marriage partner, or sometimes this can be people that come in that have a karmic contractual relationship to play out with us too. For a lot of you, it looks like someone supportive could be coming into your life that is here to stay for a long time. It could be that you are really going through the final tests of the more challenging things that Saturn can bring up in the seventh house, like with Neptune and Pisces. For a Virgo rising, this is about really seeing things clearly, not through your typical rose-colored glasses way of viewing significant people in your life. This is based on Pisces ruling this part of your chart, and you have a tendency to see the best in people. But Saturn here is here to show you under the veils, as they say, and I think this is a really fitting connection to a Scorpio new moon, because Scorpio is about seeing what's behind the curtain. And I think that you are one of the signs that's stepping into the scorpionic energy more, where the Saturn tests have really shown you how to see things at face value. Maybe this is what you're writing about. Maybe this is what you're talking about and sharing with other people. Or maybe you're getting information from the internet that is really helping you in that process. Aside from all of those things, I just want to touch on Jupiter again, because it is a big support in your 10th house. Even though it is retrograde right now, it could be bringing back opportunities from the past that are healing your psychological wounds. Something unexpected with Uranus in your 9th house could be coming from a teacher or your own values and mindset about how the world works. What you are putting together as far as your belief systems and how you put that into writing is going through some sort of unexpected upheaval. You might be having some revelations about your belief systems, and that is going into some very important writing. All in all, Virgo, this Mars in your 11th house is an opportunity to really focus on your connections, be passionate about the audience that you have, the work networks that you have, and being connected in this world, having a sense of community. We talk a lot about having really important close relationships, and that those hold more value than a sense of community or acquaintances. But with energy like this, you could be going over that too and realizing that a sense of belonging comes from having a healthy relationship with community and acquaintances too. And with Pluto in your 5th house, just back to this Mars-Pluto axis, this has a lot to do with you really shining in who you are naturally. Pluto has stripped away anything that's holding you back from being your true authentic self. And Venus in your 4th house opposing Jupiter in your 10th, as much as you have Jupiter supporting this visibility part of your chart, it's retrograding right now, and it might be going back over a factor of your visibility and how you express what's on the inside. Because of Venus in the 4th house right now in Sagittarius, this is a part of your inner world that is adventurous and Jupiterian, so expressive and expansive and joyful and playful. This is a side that Virgos don't express often enough. And this is another part that's being activated with this new moon. So regardless of challenges that you are facing, think of them as an exercise machine that you're stepping up to really work that muscle of expressing the joy that is inside of you, and the adventurer, and what is really going on at the core. This can also bring tension between pleasure at home and responsibility and your public image and what you want to get done in the outside world. There are actually a lot of different ways that could show up, and I hope that I have conveyed the energy behind things. Ultimately, Virgo, this is about understanding other people more clearly and feeling safe to express what's really going on inside for you. And when you are really feeling safe to be yourself, it's because you have curated an environment that is healthy for you to do that. So, great work on that, Virgo. And thank you so much for being here. I hope that this new moon is bringing lots of new beginnings with siblings, cousins, writing, media, communication, and that it is supporting you in all the best ways. I'll see you next time. Hi, Libra. This is a second house new moon for you. So this is a brand new beginning when it comes to what you value, how you spend your energy, how you treat your body, what you ingest. And it's really about energy in, energy out. If what we value is the energy that we take in, then our bodies are healthier and have more energy to give back to. That is if what we value is in alignment with health. If what we value is actually not in alignment with health, then we're still getting what we are aligned with. Because Mercury is alongside this new moon in your second house, I see you really communicating and mentally processing what you value. You might be spending a lot of time just thinking about things that really matter to you in an energetic and material possessions way. This is another house. This is a house that represents our material belongings as well, what we spend our money on and what we collect. This Pluto-Mars opposition is happening for you in your 4th and 10th house. This has been a journey of probably very deep transformation of your inner world and really looking at the psychology from your family system, from the family that raised you, how it's been passed down through generations, and what you are doing to radically, deeply transform this part of yourself. You are almost done. So huge congratulations. You might even be putting this out into the public because of this Mars-Pluto opposition. You might be facing some challenges, and maybe you're just feeling really passionate about getting this out into the public and sharing what you've been through. And please do. This is no small thing, and other people are about to go through the same thing that you have with this deep inner transformation if they have Aquarius in the 4th house. And it's going to be so helpful to have that emotional support from another person who's been through it, because a Pluto journey in that deep part of our being it's tough. It's a big deal. It is the kind of thing that when you're down in the depths of that part of ourselves, reorganizing and looking at all the scary, dark, difficult stuff, it's probably soothing to know that everybody's going through it and everybody's doing the best they can. Also, because this new moon is in Scorpio in the house of your values, what you value is psychological transformation. That is what Scorpio is all about. So that puts you in an even better role to be somebody that talks about this Pluto experience in your inner world, especially because you're a Libra. And this is not only going to help you, but it's the Libra energy of being so delicate and gentle with expression is something that is a wonderful tool to balance out the heaviness of these Scorpio, Pluto psychological topics, especially when it comes to our home life and our families and inner trauma and psychological heaviness and damage and sorting out and healing. So there's a really nice balance of being able to articulate in a Libra way where you see fairness and balance in the whole situation, and having gone through this more tipping into the dark side of life experience. Now, this also would be helpful for a Libra because this is probably a transit that taught you that you don't need to be so gentle. You don't need to be so diplomatic in all situations. And when someone with a lot of Libra steps into a role that is dark and serious and harsh and a little more challenging, it brings even more balance, which is what Libra is all about. I hope that made sense. That was a bit of a rant, but I hope that a lot of Libras will be able to relate to a piece of that and see how important any challenges that you've been through since 2008 with Pluto in your fourth house really, really are, not just for you, but for everybody that gets to experience what you've learned alongside with. And the discipline that you have in your day-to-day life right now is really supporting the second house stuff. So this really could have to do with health and what you eat and how you manage your energy, your daily routines, your work ethic. Saturn here is going back over some steps that you've been working on, as Saturn is the great disciplinary teacher. Whatever is coming up right now, you might just be deepening that experience. But for this new moon, it is really supporting your values and how you spend your money, what you spend your money on, how you eat, and how you nurture your life with your resources. You're breaking through the fog there, and you're breaking through any temptation to just go out into la la land and enjoy pleasure for what it is. You're going to have a really nice balance there. And Jupiter is healing some wounds that you might have in your partnerships. So you might be, through the belief systems that you've been integrating since June with Jupiter here, you might be sending some healing rays to a partner, being the wounded healer yourself, spreading what you've done to heal your own wounds and helping someone significant in your life with that too. Those are some of the blessings, along with just the huge congratulations of a really tough journey and learning with Pluto in your fourth house. I hope it's going really well for you, Libra, and I will see you next time. Scorpio, this is your new moon. This can really be a fresh start for anything in your life, but especially the tools that you have to move through this world, the way that you manage your body and the way that you manage your psyche, because you are a Scorpio after all. You have Mercury here, so you are going to be feeling more communicative and expressive. You are going to be talking more about what you do best, which is understanding that raw psychology and shadow side of the world, the stuff that most people don't see, the stuff that most people don't want to look at. You're in a role right now where you're feeling probably empowered to share your insights. Pluto in your third house has really shifted this for you. Your ability to express and write and create, and maybe even the things that you take in from literature and social media and the internet, those sort of things. In some ways, this has really transformed, and I think it can also have to do with siblings, short distance travel, close relatives, neighbors. Those may have been the real life things that showed up to help you work on your words and work on your communication, and maybe they were also themes in the writing or expression that you were trying to get across. You know, the muse kind of thing, family members. What better topics to write about? Especially with Mars in Cancer, a sign of family. And Mars is fueling you with passion on this topic. This also has to do with your higher wisdom and your mind, your belief systems, the knowledge that you gather from the world to create your own concepts and the lens that you view how things function through. This is going to be very family focused for you right now, and it doesn't necessarily mean your specific family, but it could be. It's going to be more about the general topics of family bonds and loved ones and protection. Scorpio bonds run quite deep, and the people that you love and you care about are very important to you. And that is part of why Cancer is the sign that rules the ninth house for you, which is mindset and your values and your belief systems. As a Scorpio, your bonds run deep. And this is part of the energy of having Cancer in your ninth house, is that what you value and your belief systems, the way that you see the world, has a lot to do with protecting the ones that you love. If this has to do with family members, when it comes to Pluto and the transformations you've been doing in your third house, then especially siblings, aunts and uncles, you're probably going to be feeling really protective over them, and you're going to be working on your belief systems that help that protective energy flow through in a way that, one, can be released, because Mars can be this pent up, angry, aggression, assertive, protective energy. This could be part of what you're processing when it comes to being a teacher in scorpionic type things. So whether you are an actual teacher in this world or you are stepping into a role right now that is showing the world more of what you know, you're going to be exercising how to get those words out. And you have all the tools with Pluto, so this is just about putting it into action at this point. And you're going to feel less of the challenge probably when Pluto moves on to Aquarius on November 18th. However, we're dealing with a Mercury retrograde until December 14th, so that's going to be a different type of setbacks and delays. You're not going to deal with the same type of challenges of a Pluto-Mars opposition in your third and ninth house when it comes to getting your beliefs across and conveying words and getting things into writing. Jupiter and Venus are opposing each other in your second and eighth house. So this is about, again, what you value and how your assets and the support from other people align with that. You might be actually getting a lot of support from other people right now with Jupiter in your eighth house, and you're enjoying that in maybe spending too much money or spending more than you normally would. If this opposition with Jupiter and Venus is showing up in a challenging way, I have a feeling that it is about spending other people's resources, probably on things that are very lovely and very fun and very adventurous. So maybe this is something that gets worked out between partnerships, but it could pose some challenges on how much money you spend on a glamorous vacation and what that looks like, and you're negotiating some things with your partner that way. Another layer of perfecting this verbal expression, and ultimately, because this is your new moon, Scorpio, this is about expressing you, expressing the tools and assets that you have. If this is health-wise and to do with your body, this could be a new cycle of how you use your body, how you feel in your body, and that could be part of the Venus-Jupiter opposition in the second and eighth, where it's more about what you ingest and how you take care of your body, how you manage sweets, how you manage sugar with Venus, and anything that is pleasure over optimal, energetic, healthy output. And Like I said earlier, so many ways that this could show up with a new moon in your sign. This is a great opportunity to take the first steps in initiating a new journey that you would like to embark on, especially before Mercury goes retrograde. Take advantage of this new moon, and I hope it's going really well for you, Scorpio. Happy birthday to all of you Scorpios out there, and thank you for making this world a richer, deeper, more interesting place. Hi, Sagittarius. This is a 12th house new moon for you. So this could be something that you actually don't even see right now when it comes to the full cycle at the end of the 6 months. When we have a full moon in this part of your chart, you might have an illumination of something that was hidden from you at this moment. It doesn't necessarily mean that, though. It can be a time where you're taking a break. You get to retreat, get some time away from life, maybe a new beginning with some overseas travel of some sort. But ultimately, this is about rest and retreat from the day-to-day grind and the work that you normally have to do. You could be spending more time writing and just taking that break for yourself and putting it into creative writing, especially about Scorpio-related topics. And it could be that you're working on your psychic connections and that you were developing some spidey senses on how to download information about what is going on behind the scenes with people. And maybe you're writing about that. Pluto-Mars opposition is happening for you in your 2nd and 8th house. So you have been completely transformed in your self-worth, and you have likely gone through some really challenging experiences with fears around expressing what you value, expressing how you really feel about yourself, and maybe seeing the dark side of life when it comes to how other people can try to take away from your energy and your self-worth, and what that means to have full power around that part of your energy again. Right now, it looks like you are getting a lot of support from another person, or the deep, intimate bonds that you are creating are putting a challenge to some of what you value. You might even be feeling more passionate about connecting deeply with other people and getting to see some of the Scorpio sides of other people because of Mars in your 8th house, which is a Scorpio house. Especially how it relates to family bonds and nurturing and deep protection within that intimate bond that you are creating. A resource from another person could be severed, and that's making you lean more on your own resources and what you typically purchase and value and spend money on. There's a huge balancing act right now with Jupiter in your 7th house and Venus in your sign. So first of all, Venus in your sign is a wonderful time for haircuts, buying new clothes, generally feeling really good in your body and enjoying more pleasure. With Jupiter in your partnership house, it could be that you are enjoying more pleasure with your partner. It could be that there's some tipping of the balance of the scales that needs to happen with how much energy you're putting towards another person and how much you're putting back towards yourself, and how that affects true pleasure for you. Saturn is sending lovely energy to this moon from your 5th house, and that to me looks like you're experiencing stability in your home life and in your inner world. And you could have a new protection system that really creates a healthy boundary between your inner world and other people. And that could be part of what's happening with transformation with how you value your energy and how you manage your energy. You're really cutting through some of the fog in your home life and your internal world and seeing things clearly. And that is somehow an asset to this moon energy. Maybe it's the the solid foundation in your home that is allowing you to really retreat and take a break finally, or some restriction in your home, transformation that is allowing you to go overseas. There are always lots of ways this can show up in the material sense, but the essence is about stability in your home life and how that is a beneficial energy right now. Something unpredictable with work could also be part of why you were spending more time in isolation and reading and processing outside of your day-to-day work environment. That's just a small, maybe not small piece with Uranus in your sixth house, but something is unexpectedly changing with your day-to-day habits and your day-to-day ways of going about life. So overall, for you, balance between yourself and another person, pleasure, energy, assets, and ultimately, this is a time to just take a break, Sag, before your birthday season, which you'll want to have all of your replenished energy ready for that. So I hope it's going really well for you. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful new moon cycle. I'll see you next time.